13 forecast first, sponsored by George Sink Injury Lawyers.
And we are heating up across the area this week, and rain chances going down. Viper 13 real-time radar looking at one shower across parts of Williamsburg County. That was in Lake City earlier, but winding down. Some storms to our north as well. They will be weakening as they head in our direction, but we'll be watching those for later on this evening, especially for northern areas. We're all on the hot side, however. Temperatures right now in the 90s, mostly mid-90s. A little cooler with the sea breeze along the coast, and it is going to stay warm and muggy overnight tonight. The heat's back again tomorrow. I'll have a look at how long this hot weather will last coming up.
Coverage you can count on at 5 starts now.
Right now on News 13 at 5, we have live coverage from the polls as voters cast their votes in the South Carolina GOP Senate special election primary.
And we'll have a live report from Pawleys Island after a school linked with a recent scandal announces it is closing.
Thanks for joining us for News 13 at 5. I'm Adriana Lawrence.
And Dominette Pegler, and News 13 is your local election headquarters. And we're just now 2 hours away from polls closing in South Carolina's special U.S. Senate primary.
And with a crowded field of Republicans looking to fill the seat previously held by late Senator Lindsey Graham. News 13's Jordan Titus joins us live at the HGTC Grand Strand campus, one location where voting's underway. Jordan, what are you watching as we get closer to polls closing?
Adriana, Annette, the big question is whether any one candidate can get more than half of the vote. And with so many Republicans in this race, the vote could be split among several candidates. Now, if no one gets that majority, the race isn't over. Voters are choosing from a crowded Republican field in the special primary to fill the U.S. Senate seat previously held by late Senator Lindsey Graham. More than 61,000 ballots were already cast, though early and absentee voting before polls even opened this morning. But the number to watch tonight is 50%. A candidate must receive a majority of the vote to win the Republican nomination outright. If no one does, the finishers will advance to a runoff on August 25th. The eventual Republican nominee will face Democrat Dr. Annie Andrews in November. Now, there's still time to vote. Polls close at 7, and as long as you're in line by 7, you can still cast your ballot. Then you can count on us for those results. Reporting live in Market Common, Jordan Titus, News 13.
Jordan, thank you. And while you still have time to cast your vote before the polls close, here's a reminder of whose names are on the ballot. Candidates will include South Carolina Congressman Ralph Norman and Russell Fry, former South Carolina Governor and Congressman Mark Sanford, and businessman Mark Lynch. Now, other names included are interim Senator Darlene Graham, former Mayor of Myrtle Beach Mark McBride, Attorney Duke Buckner, Samuel Shepard, Gail Parker, and Danny Ford Jr.
And some of the candidates cast their votes today in the election. Former Governor and Congressman Mark Sanford was in Mount Pleasant earlier today, while Congressman Russell Fry posted on Facebook of him and his family at the polls in Horry County. Make sure to keep up with News 13 this election season. We'll have everything you need to know, both on air and online at WBTW.com. Well, after 25 years, Pawleys Island Christian Academy, which has been embroiled in controversy since it was revealed that a registered sex offender was volunteering there, is closing.
And current leadership at Pawleys Island Community Church announced today it is formally ending the school ministry, citing an ongoing investigation and delays with licensing for the upcoming school year. And News 13's Cameron Townsend joins us live from Pawleys Island with more on this decision. Cameron.
Annette, Adriana, students were originally supposed to come back to school here on August 3rd. That date was delayed, leaving parents and students wondering if or when they would return. And today their question was answered. The school is closing. Pawleys Island Christian Academy has been a part of Pawleys Island Community Church for 25 years. But the past few weeks have brought a lot of questions about what would happen next. The investigation started after a parent raised concerns about registered sex offender Warren Perry volunteering around children at the school and the church. But since then, 5 people have been arrested. Now, church leaders say the academy won't reopen due to recent events and delays with licensing. And they're apologizing to the families and community who have trusted the school for years. In a statement posted to its website yesterday, the school said in part, quote, "We recognize the information that has come to light over the past few weeks has severed trust and caused tremendous hurt and confusion. For this, the current leadership of Pawleys Island Community Church offers our sincerest apologies. And we're not sure exactly what licensing issues went into this process. I've reached out to the South Carolina Department of Social Services today for more information. They said they weren't able to get that to me by the time our show started. They will get that to us as soon as possible, and we will get it to you as soon as possible. Live in Pawleys Island, Cameron Townsend, News 13.
Cameron, thank you. Horry County Police say a man has been charged with murder in connection with the death of his own grandfather. Police arrested Jamarius Brown and booked him into the J. Reuben Long Detention Center. Brown also faces a possession of a weapon during a violent crime charge. Brown's charges are in connection with the killing of his grandfather, Ellis Brown. Authorities say Ellis was found dead and partially wrapped in a blanket inside his Eno Drive home around 4 Sunday morning. Brown remains in custody.
The Robeson County Sheriff's Office says a detention center officer is facing multiple charges in connection with the alleged smuggling of drugs into the jail. Caleb Nolan faces multiple charges, including 2 counts of maintaining a dwelling, vehicle, or place for controlled substances. Nolan was given a $1 million secured bond and placed in the custody of the Scotland County Detention Center. Sheriff Bernice Wilkins said the arrest of a detention officer is not something the agency takes lightly, adding that corruption and the introduction of illegal drugs into the detention center will not be tolerated.
Horry County Police say the husband of a woman who was last seen in May is now considered a suspect in the case. Cyrena Anderson was reported missing on May 19th by her sister, who told police that they had not spoken since May 12th. Police say her husband, Danny Osborne, told investigators that his wife packed up her belongings and left home early on May 13th. HCPD previously considered Osborne a person of interest, but because of his continued lack of cooperation, police now consider him a suspect. Make sure to count on us for those updates.
Well, right now, Myrtle Beach residents have the chance to meet the city's 4 finalists for the next chief of police.
The public meet and greet is starting right now and will go until 6:30, giving residents the chance to meet the candidates and ask any questions. News 13's Morgan Baker is live at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center, where the event is taking place. And Morgan, what can people expect?
Annette, Adriana, residents who come to tonight's event can speak directly with each of the 4 candidates and ask them questions about their policing styles. Now, as you can see behind me, the room is already beginning to fill up with people ready to greet these candidates. Those candidates are Nicholas Augustine, coming from Maryland, Frederick Chambers and Scott Booth, coming from Virginia, and Philip Bethune, coming from Colorado. Now, the event will go until 6:30 tonight. I'll have more on the meet and greet tonight on News 13 at 11. Reporting live in Myrtle Beach, Morgan Baker, News 13.
News 13 on-time traffic, sponsored by Joy Law Firm. Just call Joy.
And traffic not too bad right now on 501 between CCU and Carolina Forest. Just the occasional slowdown at the traffic lights. Looking pretty good right now on 544. Drive times along the Grand Strand on 501 from Carolina Forest to CCU. That'll take 10 minutes. 17 in both directions along the Grand Strand. Moving a little bit slower than normal. Florence area looking okay. No problems in town right now. I-95 moving along nicely. Currently on 95 from TV Road to 76. That'll take 10 minutes. Palmetto from 5 Points to Irby Street will take 5 minutes. And 52 from Palmetto to I-95 will take 8 minutes.
Frank, thank you. In the Middle East, 2 ships attacked as both Iran and the U.S. engage in a war of words over who controls the Strait of Hormuz.
The longer this war goes on, the more economic pain for both countries. News Nation Washington correspondent Corey Smith reports from the White House.
Well, there's no debate. The U.S. economy far healthier than Iran's economy, but both are being weighed down by the situation in the Strait of Hormuz. On Iran's side of the ledger, you've got the U.S. naval blockade severely limiting Tehran's ability to sell oil on the global market. Their currency is collapsing. Much of their industrial capacity is gone. Inflation is through the roof at 87.9%. President Trump, who says he is low-keying this conflict, believes squeezing Iran's economy through sanctions and the naval blockade could bring the regime back to the negotiating table. Here's the president.
They're broke. They have no money. You know, Iran is broke, totally broke, and they're not paying their soldiers. They have inflation of 300% as of last night. I heard 309%. So we'll see what happens.
As for the U.S. economy, it is faring much better than Iran's, but American consumers are still feeling the pain at the pump, the grocery store, and in the job market. We'll start there. The July jobs report was lackluster. The U.S. lost 23,000 jobs last month, and the unemployment rate ticked lower because people simply stopped looking for a job, so they aren't counted as unemployed. Meanwhile, wage growth is outpacing inflation, which is a welcome change from April and May when it was reversed, but food prices and energy prices remain high. Right now, inflation is sitting at about 3.5%, which is above the Fed's 2% sweet spot. Gas prices are up about 13 cents compared to last month and nearly $1 higher compared to a year ago, which brings us back to oil prices and the Strait of Hormuz. With growing doubt over an agreement to reopen this critical waterway, economic headwinds are building here at home, but the White House is trying to put a positive spin on things and saying it is not all bad economic news. So we'll get a better idea of where the economy is headed this week. We get the consumer price index tomorrow, so we'll know what inflation is doing. The producer price index on Thursday, which will tell us what businesses are first paying for goods. And then on Friday, we get the retail sales report, which will let us know whether Americans are still spending money despite all this economic uncertainty. At the White House, Corey Smith, News Nation.
AAA has announced the new national average of gas prices. The national average sits at $4.01 a gallon, with diesel sitting at $5.32. Along the Grand Strand, the average price for gas in Myrtle Beach is $3.41. In the PD, the average price in Florence is $3.50. And towards the border belt, the price for gas in Lumberton is $3.65 a gallon.
Well, accused killer Luigi Mangione was back in a Manhattan courtroom today for the last time before his murder trial is set to begin. The hearing centered around media access and if cameras would be allowed in the courtroom. New York state law prohibits video cameras inside criminal proceedings, but the defense petitioned to broadcast the trial live. Mangione is accused of gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a New York hotel in 2024, setting off a multi-state manhunt ending 5 days after the shooting.
And our heat wave is here. Temperatures in the 90s today, and it's going to stay hot all week long. I'll have a look at how hot it's going to get coming up next.